This is the most exciting day of my life, and yes, I am exaggerating.
Hi friends, I'm Meliora. Welcome to my channel. You know, one pleasure is shopping for perfumes, or like even making the wish list. Another stage of that pleasure is ranking them, what you want, what you don't want. Another pleasure is all of a sudden discovering new perfumes that were never on your wish list, but which are for whatever reason on sale, either secondhand or in the discount stores. The fourth stage of the pleasure is when you actually buy them and they arrive. And the fifth and the final stage, that's actually not the final, there's a stage of using them, but kind of like the show off stage of the pleasure, fifth is doing a haul. It's almost like they just arrived again for me. Just ability to talk to you about this is just like such a privilege, such a pleasure. Anyway, as you probably guessed, I'm gonna show you the perfumes that I got recently. Okay, let's start from the first type. I got a decant from a fellow Russian blogger, Karina, hi if you're watching this. Karina knows probably 70 if not more % of all the marketing managers of different brands in the Russian territory, and I was super curious to sample some of the more rare brands that is hard to get in the United States, but you can get fairly easily in Europe and Russia as well. Well, I guess like some Arab countries. So the decant that she sent me set off like a whole chain of events. She sent me Tundra by Rouge Bunny Rouge. Rouge Bunny Rouge is a Russian/British brand, so their headquarters I think are in London, but the inspiration and kind of the owners of the brand come from Russia. And they are sold in certain places in the United States, but they're not really that talked about, at least not here as much. So they're more known in Europe. And I heard amazing things about their perfumes, that they are really sophisticated, well blended, beautifully packaged, but they were just so rare, so far in between you could find a discounted bottle of Rouge Bunny Rouge perfume that I kind of like, I put them on like a really long tail of my wish list. But Karina sent me a decant. As soon as I tried the decant of Tundra, I just lost sleep. I was like, this is so beautiful, elegant and balanced. This is the kind of spicy sweetness that I love, which is more about tonka bean than it is about liquid sugar. The spices that are so finely milled and so tastefully kind of put together. This is just like a very well-made bookshelf. I don't know where this comparison comes from, but that's how it feels to me. It's just really kind of like high quality, sweet and woody combination. The Tundra, it's on my wish list now. Basically, if Rouge Bunny Rouge just decided to send me a few perfumes for review, you know, things happen, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at all. Tundra is on my wish list. And Karina also sent me a teeny tiny sample of Incognito. I finished it. I fell in love with it. To me, Incognito is Sherlock Holmes, like a female Sherlock Holmes version, because this is just my absolute favorite spicy perfume at this point. So I used up the sample. I really tried to smuggle somehow a bottle through like people that I know. You know, didn't happen before the quarantine, now it's too late, so I found it. One of you actually sent me a link to Beauty Habit, which is like a online cosmetics store, and they have a exquisite selection of niche brands there. Some of them for fairly decent discounts. I waited. Every once in a while, Beauty Habit has extra 20% off of their already on sale perfumes. That's the time to snatch a bottle for yourself. This is what I did. So I finally got myself Encanto. As you can imagine, I already unpackaged it. What I really love about the packaging of Rouge perfumes is that it reminds me of Grimm Brothers fairy tales. They're whimsical and dark. They're kind of in the style of Tim Burton's, minus like super saturated colors. They're a little bit more subdued, intricate, dark, scary, kind of gothic in a way. So I don't know if you can see it, but there is a matte and glossy kind of interweaved pattern here. That's kind of like enchanted forest style. I just, style-wise, 10 out of 10. Really, really cool stuff. Okay, now that I okay, I finally opened it. So I got 50 ml from Beauty Habit. Let me remember how much. I think their black line, their black collection is more expensive than their white one. And I think it ranges between $100 and $200 depending on where you shop. So on the cheapest prices I've seen were on Beauty Habit. By the way, not sponsored. Yeah, I got it. So this is what they look like. And the bottle itself has very similar kind of forest-like pattern. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can see a mask kind of hidden in the bushes here. It's very dark and ominous. I love the styling of it. Again, Incognito to me is like woman, like a female reincarnation of Sherlock Holmes. It's very peppery, but it's not loud. That's the thing. Even the spices here, even though they're way more, I want to say, kind of strict and severe than Tundra, that has softer, finer, kind of like rounded up spices and kind of tonka bean sweetness. Here, spices come first. They're a little bit more aggressive. They're a little bit more, you know, like the beauty of mathematical logic in the perfume. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I'm so happy I finally pulled the trigger and got myself a 50 ml bottle. And that was not the end. Once you kind of like started it, it's very hard to stop. Beauty Habit, at this point, I'm stalking them for like any extra, like just give me $5 more discounts and I'll buy you. Because even though they do offer fairly good discounts, they're still like $17, $80, $100. And I'm more into, let's do $40, $50 for a niche perfume, you know? You know what I mean? You get it, right? You get it. But I knew that I had to get at least one more Rouge perfume, just because I sensed the quality. Like once I get my sticky paws on the quality of their blends, I knew I had to slowly but surely start acquiring them. So the one that I got next was Muse. I think it's sold out now. Muse is a white collection perfume. They have distinctively black or white packaging. So the white collection, it's kind of pearlized. It almost feels like satin, almost like fabric. It has all these white matte flowers kind of scattered alongside it. It's very gift-worthy. Very, very gift-worthy packaging, I must say. Again, to their design, mwah, beautiful, whimsical, very elfish, this one. So Muse, I don't know if all white collection is like that, but Muse seems much less subtle and much more loud. To me, it's neither bad or good, but it seems to me the two perfumes that I sampled from the black collection seem to be very nuanced, kind of like multi-dimensional, but you kind of like slowly dive in with your nose to this universe. While the white collection, or at least Muse in the white collection, they have way more projection. They are way more kind of like on a higher frequency. They're very heady. That means that the opening is probably the majority of what you will get in that perfume. Maybe that's only the Muse, but that's kind of the impression that I got. So I'm not as interested in the white line at this point, but I definitely wish I could collect all of the black line. Muse. As I said before, much more loud, very projectile, kind of sweet, with a little bit of more like a gourmand twist to it. Something almost like prunes, like dried prunes. It's a little bit more toward contemporary gourmands, but it's not sticky sweet yet. It doesn't cross that boundary toward Black Opium or La Vie Belle or Poison Girl. No, it's still like on the light on the light side when it comes to gourmand. To me, it's kind of syrupy enough that I would think twice about actually wearing it, but it's not that bad that I would not consider wearing it at all. I think I will definitely give it a go. I need to wear it more to really kind of land on where I stand with the Muse. But so far, Tundra by Rouge Rouge, amazing. Incognito, just mind-blowingly good. Muse, we'll see. Another purchase, I got myself a super cheap tester by Historic House Caron, which was is a French house that was created by a Russian immigrant, I think during the whole revolution, or maybe even before that, in the beginning of 20th century. And the one that I got this time, so I already have Perfume Sacré by Caron, and by the way, you can sample it on my Mercari page if you're interested. And I got myself Fleur de Rocaille, which was mentioned in the book Perfume Lover by Denise Ballou, and she was talking about Caron with such warm nostalgia that I decided to give it another go. To be completely honest, Parfum Sacré by Caron was a bit the kind of vintage, kind of like the nod to retro that I can't wear, with all due respect. So I thought maybe something more floral, something a little bit lighter, that Fleur de Rocaille promises to be. Maybe that will be like the right fit for me. I'm a bit lost for words, to be honest, because Fleur de Rocaille and Parfum Sacré by Caron, and they are just so similar to me. It's like they're not two different olfactory creations, it's like they are two flankers of the same perfume almost. So this is kind of like this dried sweet fruits with some very prominent retro sound that to me is just very difficult to enjoy. So that was my second try by Caron, and I think at this point I will put like a hold on buying any more perfumes by Caron unless I will have a chance to try them first before buying a full bottle. Really not working out for me so far. I've been testing a monthly subscription service from FragranceNet and Perfume.com. So my new decant from FragranceNet, which is the same as Fragrance.com, by the way, it came. So they cost, I think, around $10. I think you have to either pay every month, but if you want it to be like $11 and $10, you have to buy for the full year subscription. And I was a little bit disappointed with the selection of perfumes you could put in your queue, because we all know FragranceNet.com has a lavish selection of scents. I wish that they included a little bit more niche perfumes in their subscription service. So would they recommend it in general? It kind of depends if you like your queue. To my personal taste, Scentbird does a better job selecting perfumes that they offer for monthly subscriptions. Anyway, the one that I got this time was the one that I've constantly kind of my hand is always on the buy button, like the enter button to buy it blindly, but I always kind of pull myself back, like, no, you need to try it first. So this is Van Cleef & Arpels Orchid Vanille. Orchid Vanille. I heard so many glowing reviews about Orchid Vanille by Van Cleef & Arpels. I guess my expectations were so hyped up that I expected something truly revolutionary, and I forgot that this line by Van Cleef & Arpels, they make these very watercolory, very airy and light formulations, and you shouldn't be expecting anything like Francis Kurkdjian would do, or Elise Alb would do. So to me, this is almost like flour, baking flour, enveloped in a kind of these orchid accord, whatever that is. I think it's just a synonym for another way to make vanilla fragrance. Vanilla is there. It's not too gourmand. It's not vanillin. It's not the cooking type of vanilla extract, but it's also just doesn't have that much of dark allure that I was expecting, to be honest. When orchids are referenced in with respect to perfumes or fragrances, I now expect a more seductive and more kind of like a darker swirl of accords. Here it's just very soft and almost a bit of like there is some baking flour in it to me. It's not powderiness that is created by iris or by like makeup powder. It's more like baking, something like a baking flour in it. I like it, I don't love it though. So I'm glad that I actually got myself a decant. I used up almost 3 milliliters just trying to prepare for this video, trying to figure out what I think of it. And to me, it's a sign that is a kind of like a May perfume in my collection that I'm not probably gonna really fall deeply in love with it, but we'll see. There's still 5 ml left so far, 3 ml down, and I'm still kind of, what was that kind of state of mind? All right, this is such a like top of wish list purchase. I'm finally pulled the trigger. Couldn't find it any cheaper than $90, but I got it. I got myself 100 ml of Eau de Toilette Mimosa pour moi by L'Artisan Parfumeur. Allegedly the best mimosa scent on the market. Both believable yet imaginative, just like we want our soliflores to be. I finally got her. This mimosa is powdery. It's a little bit the kind of effect that sometimes iris perfumes give when it's like the smell of a well-used makeup bag. It's kind of like almost skincare kind of smell. But it doesn't go too creamy, it doesn't go too like lotiony. And yet the mimosa here is not as floral and light and kind of like shiny as it is by Commodity, which by the way, my whole bottle of Commodity mimosa fell and broke to pieces. My living room smelled of Commodity mimosa for like 3 days. I was devastated. Anyway, no longer with me, but that mimosa by Commodity is way more kind of traditional spring floral. This mimosa is very heavy for a mimosa scent because, as I told you, it has this kind of creaminess in it. It has this kind of heaviness and powderiness to it, which I find to be really unexpected. But I love it. It's so me in terms of like the way I like florals to be. Mwah, love it, absolutely love it. And another one, I feel like I maybe showed it to you before, maybe not, so if I'm showing it the second time, please forgive me. but I got myself another 60 ml of Histoire de Parfums. At this point, it's officially one of my favorite perfume houses, at least in my personal collection. 1899. Oddly enough, it doesn't say anything about Hemingway, but if memory serves me right, 1899 is devoted to the writer, Hemingway. Here it says, a seductive night out in the city of lights, theater, dinner, club, or romantic rendezvous. The heady scent of the hide and seek of the shadows and light for the nocturnal adventurer. Maybe it was their attempt at remarketing a perfume and kind of like making it less bookish, you know, less about the kind of history of literature and more about the modern day people who don't even know who Hemingway is. I hope not, because I do prefer a more kind of intellectually nourishing marketing description that they used to have before. Anyway, as I told you before, I adore the way Histoire de Parfums packages their scents. To me, this is 10 out of 10 in terms of quality, very contemporary, very modern, very fresh, and yet it has a very unique, distinctive style. So this is what it looks when you get it. It's a matte imprinted, the paper with imprinted Histoire de Parfums, then the name of the brand on the packaging. It has description and the nose and the kind of marketing story there. And when you pull it out, this is how you get. So the 60 ml is like a book sliced in half. And again, like this, just the design of it makes me smile. So the biggest size bottle will be twice as big, and it will just be it's really like you sliced it in half. And the 15 mls are even smaller, and they kind of look like the e-cigarettes, or like these things that you use for vaping. Okay. All right, where do I start? The typical kind of dry herbal DNA of Histoire de Parfums is for me to die for, and it is all here. But this particular perfume has a little bit more of fresh spicy note, not fresh florals or zesty florals or green notes. This has more of this a little bit prickly, kind of like almost ginger-like spiciness. You know, it's both refreshing and a little bit hot. I smell also, more like in the dry down, a lot of cinnamon that is kind of like still not too desert-like. Here cinnamon is a little bit more spicy and refreshing than it is represented in some of like heavier, more gourmand type of perfumes. All in all, this perfume is both refreshing and spicy. And the warmth, kind of the sweetness that is hidden behind the freshness and the spices is something that I just love waiting for in the dry down. This is the kind of perfumes that allow you to live a whole life full of different chapters as you wear the perfume during the day. 1899, so happy I got my Hemingway. The last perfume in this haul is gonna be another L'Artisan. I surprised myself that I got it that expensive. To be honest, I've been waiting for the prices to go down on these, but it seems that either some of these kind of lines, as you see, it's a different packaging compared to their standard line, even though even that was already repackaged. But like a squishy kind of like low profile bottles, I feel those are being discontinued because they're harder and harder to find. So I kind of like, I think the quarantine got the best of me and I kind of like pulled the trigger, even though just a few days ago I found it cheaper. I know, I'll cry tonight again about it. But anyway, the perfume that I got is Onde Sensuel. Onde Sensuel. Hopefully I'm saying it right. And this is kind of like a pear with caramel, if I had to like describe it in a nutshell. To me, this is very much kind of a lemonade. I got it. It reminds me of butterbeer in like the Harry Potter world, part of the Universal Studios world. This kind of like sweet caramel-like thing that is put in the lemonade. To be completely honest, I don't like it. I knew I don't like caramel. I don't like lemonade, but I read all the Fragrantica reviews in 2 languages and I just got sucked into it. It was like a panic buy. I don't know what to do now. I have a tester. It's huge. It's like 100 ml, and it is a high quality blend. You can't, I mean, that you have to give to L'Artisan Parfumeurs. They don't make shit, right? Like their blends are always at the very least high quality and like very elegant and well-rounded. They're interesting, but whether you personally like it or not, that's, you know, anybody's guess. So on the Sensuel, I will try. I'll make a small decant, put it in my purse and see if I can kind of make peace with this caramel lemonade, kind of butterbeer style thing, but I don't know what to do. It's such a huge bottle. I think I will probably try to split the bottle with you guys. So if any of you are interested, please subscribe to my Mercari page and you'll probably see very affordable decant options soon there for some of my perfumes, including On Day Sensuel. I'll probably try to kind of split the bottle with other people. The other one that I got, and this is the very last of this haul, is Hot Voltage. I just decided to keep L'Artisans together in one haul. So this one came actually fully packaged. So that allows you to see, they all look the same. So that allows you to see what kind of packaging you get if you buy it as a gift for yourself or for somebody else. So this is what we get. Very high quality packaging. This is like pretty thick velvet with like metal, gold, and you name it. There is an inspiration card. And here's the perfume itself. So this, oddly enough, to me is again a continuation of kind of like fruity discussions, like the fruit interpretations by L'Artisan Parfumeur, and the Haute Voltage is to me a metallic apple. It's like sticking a nail in an apple. Apple already contains some iron, and you know, like when you bite an apple and then you leave it out and the edge becomes kind of brown because of all of the iron. So this is kind of like nails that are being stuck in apples. Oddly enough, is also kind of like a bit hooliganish and silly. This smell is because of like the prominent fruity note. I find this to be way more of a perfume. I would actually wear this. This is interesting. It's interesting for me to see how it will develop and how it will wear. Yeah, Haute Voltage, very lucky buy, very happy about it. On the Sensuel, please help me. Please help me to split the bottle. If you like caramel, if you like pears, let's talk. All right, this was my haul. Now you tell me, what kind of bottles have you purchased or wanted to purchase during the last couple of months or weeks? Let me know. Were you happy with your purchases? Were you not? I feel I'm mostly happy. Some of the personal subjective duds were another Caron purchase, but at least it gave me a very clear impression that I will probably stop with this house for now. Because I definitely started to understand that it's not just one-off, that the Parfum Sacré was not to my liking. I now understand what's the DNA kind of like of the way their perfumes sound, the way they smell. Similarly with L'Artisans, I just have such soft spots for this brand. If you're curious, I would be super happy to do for you a review of all the perfumes that I own by L'Artisan Parfumeur, because I think it's the most prolific one brand collection that I have. In here, to be honest, blind buying is always hit or miss, so I was ready for it mentally, and I'll figure something I'll figure something out what to do with it. The rest of things, again, you know, super hot, amazing perfume, which is Incognito by Rouge by Rouge, and kind of like not so sure Muse by the same brand. I feel this is half and half whole for me, yeah. Like some of the things are truly amazing and some of the things like, oh, I wish I knew. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please share this video with other perfume lovers. If you know anyone who would enjoy this kind of content, I'll really appreciate your support. And subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video.